The Allegheny Journal does many interviews. All of you see them, and one of the best that we've done in the last couple of years is with Will Reid of Wilson Fairchild. And Will, at the last minute, agreed to come on and talk about Saturday night's show at the Jackson River Sports Complex. And we got him once again. Welcome, Will.
Well, thank you so much for that introduction. Some of our introductions aren't that nice, so I really appreciate it.
Well, anybody that's seen Wilson Fairchild show in the past knows that Wil and Langdon Reid, and along with their talented musicians, are one of the best acts that just happens anywhere, and specifically in Covington. So, Will, you've been busy, very busy, we've noticed. And we noted earlier that you guys go all over, not just the region, but let us count it. Indiana's coming up, Missouri, Tennessee, other places in Virginia, Georgia, and Florida as well. You guys are so busy. What accounts for this popularity other than just great country music?
Well, I tell Langdon, my partner, it's my good looks that help, generate all this work. But no, seriously, sometimes Langdon and I, at our age, you question all these years devoting ourselves to in and around the music business, because it's all we ever wanted to do. We've always loved singing and playing guitars and writing music and performing. And, we got the entertainment thing from our dads. And but what's great is to this point now is we've got some really big things going on. And really our building an audience on Facebook and putting out music videos, all that has really helped with our booking and our traveling. And what I will say, this one positive thing about social media for musicians, it really opened up the door for all levels of success, and so you don't have to be Taylor Swift or Garth Brooks to make it work. There's theaters all across the country, whether it's 200 seats, 500 seats, 1,000 seats that need entertainment. And so we love what we're doing.
And ever since you guys were young kids, you've been around wonderful music, but learning to write music, being composers, that's a little different from performances. And you guys are still developing many new songs. I mean, one wonders, how do you do that? What these ideas come to mind and bang on the guitar a little bit and produce it? I mean, you guys have had phenomenal success with that.
Well, I appreciate that. And yes, it's it's in our blood. That kind of sounds cliched, but it really is. I mean, we were so influenced when we were kids and being in all of our dads and their performing and their songwriting. And when Langdon and I came along and had ideas and wanted to write songs, I'll tell you a quick story that just happened yesterday. I was going through some of my dad's stuff, and he had a jar with some notes in it that I had not looked at. And he passed away about 3 years ago. So, it's one of those things, you collect these things. And I pulled a note out yesterday of a lyric that I wrote when I was 10 years old of a Christmas song.
But he kept it.
And he kept it. And I turned it over and he'd written on it, "I'm so proud." And he dated it. I was 10 years old. So that's the type of thing that we grew up with. They were so supportive. And even when we started seriously writing songs, they wouldn't write them for us. They would give us guidance and they'd tell us to sharpen our pencil. And they'd say, "That's really good, but you can do better than that." And that's how we developed. That's how we learned how to do those things.
I hope that somewhere in your office, that note is going to have a little frame around it. What a special moment that is. And so, well, and I'm also curious, on your website, you say, "We're the ambassadors of traditional country music." One of you guys came up with that great line, what does that really mean? I mean, are you talking about like the 40s and 50s, or what do you consider traditional as opposed to what we're seeing now?
So I appreciate you pointing it out. It's a great question, and the great thing is it's in our career, there's been so many roads, some good ones, some dead end roads, like everybody's story in the music business. But even when we were coming along, even let's say in the early 90s, when Langdon and I were 20 years old, we connected with the music that happened before us. We connected with, let's say, Buck Owens in the 60s and Merle Haggard in the 70s and Tammy Wynette and George Jones and our dad's music from the 70s, which really happened before us. But we were discovering all that music for the first time. So, we also connected with your Alan Jacksons and your Clint Blacks and Randy Travis, the guys that were traditional then. And that's where we hear music from, So even when in the early 2000s, when we got our first independent record deal, and even Nashville was looking at us saying that we were too traditional, they didn't really, they were going towards this rock bro country thing, which we weren't really in. So we've always battled that. But at some point in time, through social media, we were able to embrace exactly what we do. We're just very traditional. And one day, it's somebody we met, can't remember who it was, that found out that our dads were Harold and Don Reid, the Statler Brothers. And they're like, oh my gosh, they're country music royalty. It's like, well, yeah, I guess so. And so, that makes us, second generation royalty from that family. But somehow that got us back around to ambassadors, which I guess is more of a political term. But it's always been, no matter what we do, the traditional music, whether it's writing, singing, performing, that's how we feel it. That's how we hear it. And we said, you know what? That's something that we can hang our hat on. We'll be ambassadors to the traditional music.
What a great line. And I must admit something here, Will. I'm an old, rock lover and never really paid. And I would say until like the last 10 years, really didn't pay much attention to country music.
Sure.
And then a friend said, "You're wrong. I want you to hear Martina McBride and a couple of others." And I said, okay. Mm-hmm. And I said, oh man, what have I done? What have I done? This is, and so little Alan Jackson. And then I learned that Alan Jackson had a guitarist that was better than 98% of the rock guitars I've ever heard, from Stanton. Mm-hmm. Then I heard about you guys and I said, wow. And so being able to have the honor to talk to a guy like you who really made it and continue to make it is a real honor. And it's what's even better though is you guys have sons who are past or taking it to the next level. I guess your sons are Jack and Davis Reid.
Yes.
And they have their brand of country music as well. I mean, they're carrying on, aren't they?
They are. They're coming on strong, and they're Jack and Davis Reid, and you can find them on Facebook, and they're posting videos and doing shows. And this was kind of their first summer of going over into West Virginia and doing their festivals and things over there. So they're learning everything firsthand, just like we did. And it's fun to watch because they've got the music bug. They sing, they play, they laugh, they dance.
They've got the music bug. That's a good one. Well, they're going to be at the Masonic Theater coming up, and that'll be a great chance to people to see them here. Mm-hmm. Well, I guess one final thing that I wondered about is you guys have recreated or somehow enhanced the well-known Gypsy Hill Park, what is it, 4th of July?
Yeah, event? The 4th of July celebration. And so our celebration is called Happy Birthday America. And we started this 6 years ago. It was pre-COVID. We had one good year before COVID. And but we reached out to community friends, business people, about 20 people, and said, we'd like to take this over and try to bring back the magic that our dads had brought to Stanton, Virginia for 25 years with a huge celebration. And everybody agreed. And so we set up our own nonprofit, and that's our big event, is giving back to not only Stanton, Augusta County, but Virginia. And we've had people from multiple states already come back to the festival. We had thousands of people this year. We had several musical guests that are friends of ours come back and do the show with us. And so, we were restoring something from our childhood because that we loved so much. And Stanton loved it. The people just loved what a huge celebration it was. And thanks to the good Lord, we've been able to do it. And it keeps growing every year. Over the 2-day event, we probably had 25,000 people that came through for the parade and the day of and the main event music. And now we've incorporated a carnival, and it's all family fun. It's a family friendly, alcohol free event. And it's and also something that we're trying to instill is that it's an American event. It's not a political day. It's just everybody have a good time and celebrate this great country that we live in.
The Covington crowd loves you too, Will, and the camaraderie, the banter, if you will, between you two on stage is both unique and highly entertaining. And I'm sure when you take the stage around 8:00 on Saturday night in Covington, you'll get a warm reception, and maybe we'll even eat some chicken together again, like we did last year.
I wouldn't be surprised. And 2 things I want to mention before we get off. Number one, a huge thanks to Alan Dressler and everybody in Covington that started having us down there a few years ago, because it's become an annual event. But everybody's been so nice to us, and the Jackson Sports Complex is such a cool place to get out and do a show like that. It's very unique. You don't really see that anywhere. So it's really cool for them to be able to give back to the community, to entertain people. And so we're so glad to be a part of it. But big news off the press today. Langdon and I have a brand new record deal with the Gaither Music Group out of Nashville. And it's going to be a country record, but we've done some country and some gospel on it. And it's going to start being released in November. The CD and the TV part of it will be out in January, and we're super excited about it. So everybody can check us out at wilsonfairchild.com or on Facebook or any social media, and all of our music's on all the platforms also, if you want to hear our stuff.
You guys just keep working. You keep working.
Well, thanks for enjoying it. Yeah.
Well, we were delighted to catch you at the last moment. Look forward to seeing you again. And thanks very much for joining us today.
We will see you at the show, man. Thank you so much.
Yes, sir.